It is a new year and another chance to visit a new distillery. While we had been to Cofradía almost a decade ago, we decided it is time to visit again and this time document our visit. I didn't want to take chances with Cofradía as they are located at the outskirts of Tequila. Since they do tours regularly, you can probably still just show up, but I felt it was safer to book in advance. They had a contact number on their website, so I called them directly. Then we switched to WhatsApp so they could send me their full brochure of the tours available. They have quite diverse experience options, many of which is not available elsewhere. You can take a horse riding tour, you can paint your own bottle, since they even have a ceramic workshop, you can take a hop-on bus tour around the town of Tequila, you can try harvesting agave, which is quite a convenient option to do here, and there is even a night tour available. What I personally found intriguing was the actual process-related options. You can learn and watch fermentation, distillation, and do your own filtration and oxygenation of your own tequila. Since we wanted to document the tour of the facilities, we took the Experience the Distillery tour. The reservation guide recommended us to include the tasting as well, as costs only a little bit more than the base tour. So far, Cofradía had the highest base price for their tour, charging 390 pesos. However, with the tasting included, it was at 550 pesos per person, which made much more sense. We arrived a few minutes late, but since we pre-booked our experience, it fortunately wasn't an issue. We checked in, paid the balance for the tour, and we were assigned our tour guide. Let me tell you this. We were absolutely in luck. We had the pleasure to tour with Simon. He is not your ordinary tour guide. I already knew we were in for a treat when he asked us where we were from. When we mentioned Hungary, he already started talking a bit about our national spirit, palinka, a topic we have never even heard anyone in Mexico knowing about. Hint: palinka is Hungary's famous fruit distillate, except for it is only famous in Hungary and in the neighboring countries. Apart from this, the only other people I met hearing of it were oddly from Japan. The estate of Casa Noble is simply beautiful. There are lots of trees giving shade, which if you had been to Tequila you know it is usually very sunny and hot, so the trees are a blessing. There's even a lake and ducks all around, so it feels like a bit of a duck safari. To start the tour, we stopped at a beautiful artwork by famous artists from Ajijic, where Simone explained us the process. He was very detailed, and I was surprised how passionate he was in general, guiding us through the process despite him having worked for Cofradía for 12 years. After the big painting, we went straight to the distillery. Simone apologized for not being able to show us a lot of actual production, but this is not something unexpected. In fact, when you visit a medium or smaller distillery, there is a good chance they won't be producing on the exact day of your visit. He did his best though, as there was still some fermentation going on, so we were encouraged to smell the recently emptied tank, and we could even smell the Ordinario and the tequila tanks, thanks to an ongoing distillation. He kindly explained that the taona we saw there was installed for only one American client, and I was surprised how well he knows what was going on in the distillery. It almost felt like if the owner took us for the experience, which is always something I personally appreciate. We tried the steel strength distillate of the house. He showed us some tips and tricks to enjoy such high strength distillate and how to check if a tequila was made of agave. All in all, it was fun, and the conversation turned into us all joking around about using tequila as massage oil or as a skincare product. Then we went to the barrel room. Simone made us notice that it is a unique structure as there are trees growing out of the building. It is not only unique, but an important feature as well, because the trees would give shadow, which would help the building to keep cool for the barrels. Inside, we saw a few photos of the family, and we were told the family history. Casa Cofradía is still a family-run business to this day. Simone explained that Cofradía is also one of the most successful contract distillery. They have or had over 80 brands working with them as the producer. Then we reached the gift shop area that featured primarily tequila products. There was one particularly interesting one I found, which was a black blanco tequila. Simone was kind enough to give us a little sample of it, and it was the darkest blanco tequila I have ever seen. Simone said that it was made based on a family secret. Since it was not marked as having flavors or coloring to it, my assumption is that they were using deep charred New American oak for less than 2 months. I'm not sure, but it could explain the dark color and a Blanco designation. In any case, it was fun to see a new take or style of tequila product that I had never seen before. Then we went to a nice garden area next to the lake to do the tasting part. We tasted 3 different tequila of the house brand La Cofradía. We were given careful instructions on the tasting, smelling, and identifying aromas. I found the Blanco to be quite easy to drink, with grapefruit and grass aromas with profile on the drier end. The Reposado was a bit spicy, peppery, had a nice feel to it, maintaining the Blanco's freshness, and the Añejo had a particularly interesting coconut-ish style flavor to me. And besides us giving us flavor and tasting notes, actually they provided with a nice sort of paper, so even if you didn't know the flavors or you were lost a little bit, you could even just use your little cheat sheet and get some ideas. After the tasting, we went down to the cantina to enjoy a margarita that marked the end of our tour. The margarita to me was a bit on the sweet side, but my wife Andy enjoyed it very much. As she said, the sweetness was well balanced with the rim's spicy and saltiness. So overall, would I recommend visiting Casa Cofradía? My personal experience was great here. However, I know that it mostly contributed to our guide, Simone. The tour lacked a few features and experience other tours have, like trying cooked agave or touching the agave fiber, and there was no production. On the other hand, the estate has a wonderful feel and atmosphere. You walk mostly outside in the shade provided by the trees. I forgot to ask, but if you take the nights in one of the barrels, as they have a special barrel-style hotel, I believe you can take the tour free of charge. I would say even if you decide not to do the full tour, as you may not have the time and there are several other distilleries, I would still recommend you to visit the restaurant, which is open to the general public and has a nice atmosphere to it. I think we will come back at another time to try the process-based filtration or fermentation experience, as they are very unique and not offered anywhere else to my knowledge. So overall, yes, I would recommend you visiting Casa Cofradía. Cheers!